Like a lot of them, in order to attain fame, they had to like sleep with the producers, directors, like the CCP officials.
Bring these girls to perform for them, and then afterwards, Mao would just sleep with all of them.
For them, entertainment was a very easy place to be corrupt on.
She was arrested for 422 days. She was in Deng Xiaoping's home, and she made fun of Jiang Zemin. And why is she in Deng Xiaoping's home? That's another story.
Well, let's move on to talking about the effect that the CCP has on the entertainment industry in China. We've kind of touched on it, but why is the entertainment industry in China like in the state that it's in? Is that because of the CCP?
I'll set the stage, I guess, and you guys can add on. Basically, so anybody that knows the period in which like entertainment really kicked off was late 90s to early 2000s in China. That was when the CCP leadership was still under like Jiang Zemin and his whole faction. And one of his like close allies, his name was Zheng Qinghong. And it's a very convoluted situation, but Zheng's brother, younger brother, took control of like the entire entertainment industry in China and then took control of the Hong Kong entertainment too. But they were actually doing it way before the handover of Hong Kong already. But anyway, so basically the idea is that if you want to make it big in China, you'll find photos of all the celebrities, the biggest ones at the time, taking photo with Zheng's younger brother. And so he was the guy who was in the CCP that oversaw the entertainment. And then basically the idea of ruling for the Jiang faction was that be as corrupt as you can. And fortunately for them, entertainment was a very easy place to be corrupt on, entertainment, finance. And then he managed to connect all of them. So let's say I'm a girl and I want to go into movies. Well, if I can just go and meet with this guy from this place, and then, a day later, I'm the #1 star in the country. Like that was a very common thing that they did. So like people talk about Harvey Weinstein was super bad, right? The whole Me Too movement in China, it's called hidden rules. So 潜规则. It's like basically if you want to get somewhere, you got to do this, right? There's no shortcut. Or that is the shortcut. I think.
Yeah, that
would
be
a shortcut. Yeah.
You have to do something.
So that's why I was saying talent is not the #1 priority for them. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it brings back memory of during Mao's era, there were a lot of CCP entertainment groups, 文青团, or so what happened is young girls all joined these groups to put on pro-CCP propaganda shows, and then Mao and the higher elite members of the CCP would just sleep with whoever they want, and then every province they go to, they would just bring these girls to perform for them, and then afterwards Mao would just sleep with all of them. And of course during that time it was more about personal worship because everyone is regarding Mao as the greatest leader, so they're willingly sleep with him. But then for the several ones that didn't want to, they're forced to. So
there was actually a whole thing about it's like you're doing this for the revolutionary cause, because there was everything was about the revolutionary cause.
Yes, yeah. You're serving the greatest leader.
Exactly.
Wow.
The whole system, the nature of the system in the Chinese entertainment industry is distorted. It's not to pursue the acting, to pursue the artist.
Yeah, that's the side job, right?
Yeah, as a priority, but they just sneaking to find ways to get protected. For those celebrities who are the safest in China, it's those ones with has affiliation with the CCP officials. Yeah, the higher ranking, the better. For other celebrities, it's that their fame, their reputation is unstable.
So after Mao died, of course, the modern China is different from that time. But what happened is whoever that's in charge are the CCP high officials. And during Jiang Zemin's era, there was a famous actress called Liu Xiaoqing. I don't know if you guys heard of her before. This is what she looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, she was very famous. She was at that time, I would say she was the equivalent of
Helen Mirren?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep
Today, yeah. She's very famous, but then she's on the level of Zhao Wei and higher at her time. But then she was arrested for 422 days because of, I guess, tax evasion. Same excuse that was used on Fan Bingbing and Zhao Wei. And it was, she published a book after she was released, and she said it was because she was in Deng Xiaoping's home, and she made fun of Jiang Zemin.
So he like remember that, I guess, or he felt he was embarrassed by her?
Yes. So I don't know when this happened, like when she made fun of Jiang Zemin, but Deng Xiaoping was definitely in power. And why is she in Deng Xiaoping's home? That's another story. But then after Jiang is in power, he just ordered, that's in 2002, he just ordered to seize all her assets and throw her into jail without trial. And that's it. And number one A-list celebrity just went into jail for 422 days, just like that.
There's no such thing as a real A-list or like unreachable protection, right?
Nothing.
It's like whoever's in power just gets to decide what they want to do.
Well, let's kind of go back to the beginning now, back to Zhao Lu. So do you think, so judging, from all the things we've talked about, celebrities getting in trouble, getting on the wrong side of the CCP, all that kind of stuff, do you think there's any aspect of that in this? Like, has Zhao Lu, has she, got on the wrong side of someone, and that's why she's got into all this trouble? And do you actually even believe her story?
I definitely have my opinion, but I'm going to hear yours first.
Why me? Okay, I'll go first then. I believe that, because I think from what I know, the abuse part is probably real. Whether or not she's really suffering from something, well, I guess we'll find out. Because I just feel like there's no political, I mean, how would you put this? There's no reason for her to lie about this condition, because she's already famous enough. Like if she wasn't as famous, maybe she will, need to manufacture something for her to get more viral. For more.
Also visually, she lost all that weight. She went down to 36 kilograms, which is 80 pounds. Which is very light.
Yeah.
From 55, I think she was.
I believe her. I don't know, Letty, what do you think?
Yeah, I tend to believe the story because according to what she posted online, like the whole thing happened back in 2019. She experienced both physical and mental abuse by one of her managers, and then that actually, put her in a situation that, that kind of experiencing mental suffer. So after that incident, she mentioned that she sometimes woke up in terror and nightmare of that incident.
So like PTSD, basically.
Yeah, kind of like that. And also, her condition, I remember, deteriorated in 2021. And during that time, she suffered a bit of like a series of health problems.
Feel like there was something about like
pneumonia, kind of pneumonia. Yeah,
hard to breathe, like a lot of small
things.
symptoms, right?
Yes, and also lost, I think, some of her loved ones.
Oh.
Yes.
And while she was working really intensely,
yes, exactly.
She had to deal with losing some family members, and also having some family members diagnosed with diseases.
Yeah.
Which sounds like the industry is really intense in both China and Korea. That these people are just worked ridiculously hard because they're basically a product.
Yes,
and the company is molding them. So it's like, you're our product. We're just going to get our money out of you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not so much like here where a person, they do have some talent, they're also trained, but it's not as much. It's more on them. And they choose whether to accept or decline the work.
And over the years, she continued disregarded her actually mental health issue. So that makes things worse.
Yeah, that's
all
another
the way
thing.
Until 2024.
Mental health is not really a...
Yes, exactly.
It's like growing up, if you're an Asian household, mental health is not really a...
Not a thing,
it's
but
like,
it actually
get
is.
over it,
Yes, just let it go. But it's not as easy as let it go, Yeah, as she mentioned. So I tend to trust. This is because this story is, I see nothing related to, dark side, especially in relation to the Chinese officials. So it's more about her own experience and her story. So I think this is true. And there's also a picture, a photo of her, just as Ben mentioned, sitting in the wheelchair. Yeah, went viral on Chinese media. So I think this is true.
Okay, well, I'm going to say my opposite opinion.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I think she is definitely visibly suffering, as the photo is showing, and her weight is super low. But I want to mention that I'm skeptical about two things. One is that the timing of this, because she did say she's suffering from a lot of abuse mentally before she became popular and even after she became popular. But then more recently, I think because of her lack of talent as an actress, even though she has a huge fan base, but it's pretty clear that she wasn't putting the best performance out there in the dramas that she's in. So she did suffer more anti-fan comments and hatred as well. So, and then there were like other incidents that happened with her, that she was like openly cursing with two other co-star, and basically
Openly cursing. That gets you in trouble in China.
Yeah,
Openly.
there was recently some headline about this. Another actor, Lu Han, he also
Right.
went really viral on Chinese social media because he was cursing at his fans during a live stream.
Oh, at his fans.
Or whoever was
or just
criticizing,
saying a curse word.
Yeah, it's very strange because like it was around the same time that another big protest happened in China. So obviously they were redirecting the attention. But yeah, he was like cursing during a live stream, and then that suddenly became like, oh my God, my favorite celebrity is cursing. Oh my God, how can that be? Whoa, you know.
Yeah, they have to maintain this
Image, right?
Maintains
Yeah.
basically
very
a
clean image.
persona. Sometimes it's not even how they actually are.
Yeah.
But anyway, they so is facing a lot of I guess,
Negative side of things?
criticism from the anti-fans and the other people in China. So I feel like sometimes in China, her condition could be real, but then the timing of releasing all this drama on January 1st of the new year definitely succeeded in redirecting all the hatred to now sympathy,
Right.
with her condition. So that's one thing that I feel skeptical about. And then another thing is that China, as we all know, as the last episode, right? You guys were talking about how during Chinese New Year, people have to try to get their payback,
Yeah.
right? And it's almost Chinese New Year, and the CCP has a track record of using celebrity entertainment news to cover up what really is happening.
Yeah.
So like with Chris Wu, the news of him being arrested, the news of his first trial and second trial, all happened one day after some big tragic incident that happened in China.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that's just, is it coincidence?
I guess because you control when they're going to arrest someone, don't you? You have total
Yes,
control
of
over
course.
it. When's the news going to break?
And then also like some other celebrities, things might be happening for a long time. Like Li Yifeng, he was what's the word? He was involved
Also
in
involved in
prostitution,
prostitution, yeah.
right? But then it's been happening for a long time. But the timing of it being exposed and his arrest was definitely related to covering up something that the CCP needed to cover up. So I feel like the fact that she was she released this on January 1st doesn't seem that simple to me. So I feel skeptical. And the third point I really want to make is that in China, I think this is very unique to Chinese entertainment industry. So in Korea, it's very true that the trainees, the singers, the actors are all like controlled by their company and overworked as well. But then at the same time, they do strive to be better, improving whatever profession they're in to compete with other fellow trainees. In China, it's not the case. Once you're famous and you make tons and tons of money easily. So there's like a list of someone like putting all the famous actor and actresses and their pay. Like there was Angela Baby. I don't know if you remember her. She also disappeared now. But in this drama that she was in, she made...
How many schwangs did she make?
She made 80 million RMB.
Okay.
And she only showed up on set for 4 days.
Wow.
Crazy. And then people hated that drama because the 4 days she's on set, everything was filmed in green screen, and so she was super composed into everything else that was already filmed.
Wow.
So the entire
Why did they do that?
set didn't.
Just because she
for
couldn't
money,
be bothered
maybe?
to
I
like.
don't know. I really
it
don't know.
properly?
That's what I'm telling you. Like a lot of these people, talent's not an issue. It's
Yeah.
just well, for girls, like you look pretty, and then you just happen to because her husband is also really famous, Angela
Yes.
Baby's husband.
Ex-husband.
Yeah.
Ex-husband.
She was weirdly in Independence Day Resurgence. Do you remember that movie? Like
They
the
always
sequel to
insert like a
Independence-
random Chinese
Yeah.
actress into like in a Hollywood movie.
And
right?
no one knew who she was.
Yeah.
And then all the Western actors in that movie, like Chris Hemsworth and stuff, they're all like, you know, like trying to ask her out and stuff, as if she's like, you know,
Well, she's pretty.
she's quite pretty. And then also in that movie, they were all drinking that milk, that Chinese milk. I don't know. Maybe we can put something on screen of it. But it's really funny. There's this this whole moon base scene, and they're all using QQ for their video calls, like all the
Wow.
Westerns, right?
Probably because Tencent was funding the movie. That's
Yeah,
why.
that movie was like huge on Chinese product placement, weirdly inserting Chinese actresses that no one in the West has heard of into the movie, and all the other product placements they did.
Gosh.
And China saved the day, of course, as well. when
Of
the-
course.
But that's part of the negotiation for the contract.
Same with The Martian. Remember
Yes.
that one?
Yeah.
Matt Damon, The Martian.
There was also a movie called The Great Wall, also Matt Damon.
Oh, that's.
And Matt Damon just signed a deal with China. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think celebrities, the A-list ones, once they made it to that status, they can just do the minimum work and don't strive to improve anything, and they make tons and tons of money that an ordinary Chinese person could never even imagine. They could work millions of years and not be able to make that much with their salary. So I feel like if you're making this amount of money, there of course are going to be, equal amount of pressure and hard work that you have to put into. But on the other hand, most of these celebrities, they're purely celebrities. They're not actors, they're not singers. They're just there to please the crowd. And sometimes they don't even want to put in effort in doing that. So, I just feel like...
Maybe that's becoming complacent after many years.
Absolutely.
She was good in 太极从零开始.
I want to ask you guys this question because Ali mentioned it. You ever notice that there's famous Bollywood actors and actresses that actually make onto Hollywood? Like Priyanka Chopra is one. There's rarely a Chinese actor or actress. There's a few, right? But they're actually not from the mainland either.
Yeah.
Are there
Bruce
Bollywood
Lee
actors?
is from Hong Kong. Jackie Chan is Hong Kong.
Well, Bruce Lee actually was an American as well. He was a citizen. Yeah.
Right.
And then Michelle Yeoh is Singaporean or Malaysian.
Right.
Michelle Yeoh.
One of those.
Yeah.
I've never seen a mainland Chinese actor that make it that big, like on the main
Without
stage.
some
Without
money
that kind
changing
of
hands.
sponsorship. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is, Ben?
I don't know. I mean, it could be that their acting ability isn't as good, but I mean, there must be some.
Well, that's what
good-
Ali just talked
good
about, right?
actors
Exactly.
in
yeah.
China. I mean, I don't think they're all necessarily bad. Right?
I think
But they
maybe
don't-
it has something to do, like on top of the fact that they're not that great in acting. But I think maybe it has something to do with language as well, because in China, the good actors, they're older, the older generation, and they don't
speak
learn
English,
English from when they're young. The younger ones who learned English since they were little don't really put in the effort to try to improve and hone their skills. So that's my guess.
The ultimate goal is different. So Chinese celebrities, what I see is their goal is to keep the fame, keep the reputation, keep the money they earned. But for celebrities like from other countries, like other Asian countries, their goal is to pursue a higher profession. So that can lead their way to Hollywood. But for Chinese celebrities, language might be one of the reasons, but I think the ultimate goal, they just need to survive and keep what they have.
Right, and that's also why they're more like political, like megaphones than actual talent. Right, because like anytime they need to influence their fan base about some decisions the CCP is going to make, they're very effective at doing that. And if they even stray a little bit from the line, they're blacklisted. So I don't see a reason for them to care much about, pursuing this grand skill like upgrade, be so good at something if they know that they might not even have 10 years of time to make money. So maybe they're just so focused on that rather than crafting out their,
Yeah, make as much money as possible.
Yeah, and also in the Communist Party, that kind of system, the people who really have the talent might not be able to make their way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the lack of someone back them, or the lack of networking like resources, they just can't. It's not people, whether people succeed or not, it's not it cannot be made through only by the fact of the talent.
Also Westerners, like Hollywood is very, very strong, right? The culture.
Yeah.
And I think Westerners don't easily accept like foreign language stuff unless you really package it in a way. Like some of the actors that from Asia that have made it here would be like kung fu actors like Jackie Chan. Chow Yun-fat, after he did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, he was in some movies in the West, right? It's not necessarily, like they have to have something that Westerners are kind of like looking for, you know what I mean? If you just take someone who's big in China and you try to put them in a movie in the West, it's kind of hard because you've got to explain to Westerners why you should care about this certain, actor. What have they done that's amazing, So I think that's like a big factor. Like why do Westerners care? Why wouldn't you cast a Westerner in that role or a Chinese American? Very interesting discussion, guys. I hope Miss Zhao Lusi is able to sort out her problems and recover and have a fruitful career in the future. Hopefully she won't be one of the ones that gets permanently blacklisted. We wish her the best. You guys can check out all of the channels of our guests on the screen now. We'll put them in annotations on screen. My channel also is Learn Chinese Now. If you're interested in Chinese history, culture, all that kind of stuff, do check it out. Thank you so much for joining today, guys, and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.